Hello, welcome denizens of the internet to the first episode of You, Me, and Joushi. I am, of course, Josh or Joshi Howard, and I'm joined by two illustrious guests. This is going to be our first episode in whatever this is. We asked you guys for hot takes. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but at least on my screen, in my top left, I have Alex Pina. Alex, how you doing today?
Hi, top left, Alex Pina here. Happy to be here. It's a great day in Washington. It's hot, but not too hot, and our takes are going to be much hotter than that.
I like it.
And,
I see the, you got the tank top going. You're ready to go for the hot takes.
I'm ready. Pump iron.
Yeah. Who are you, Alex, and why should we care what you have to say?
You shouldn't care what I have to say, but you should anyway. I'm Alex Pina. I'm a 40K player in the PNW. I play a lot of T-Suns and Marines, and lately everything else. Focus mostly on teams, but I just love to throw dice.
Nice. And off in the top right, we have Floof Cox. I thought about throwing down your government name, and I was like, nah, maybe we don't do that one for the inaugural episode. Floof, how are you doing today?
That would be hilarious.
I'm so used to doing it for myself, you know?
I'm doing great, buddy. It's good to be here.
Yeah. Floof, tell us a little about yourself, because obviously, we have Alex, resident dice thrower. What about you?
Hi, everyone. My name is Nexos Floof. I am one of the top GSC players in the world, I like to say. I run a small little channel teaching people how to actually play the faction and get into it and all that fun stuff. And just like everyone else in this call, I do hang out with the Team USAs and in just various teams events to help people play the game. I also like to throw dice. And,
wow. I also like to throw dice. Do we have this in common? Oh my god.
What the heck?
Yeah.
No, I don't like not like in terms of playing the game. I just like to chuck dice at people. Just like projectile missiles.
Yeah, catch Floof and I at the 7-Eleven.
Throwing dice at each other. The real after event for the UKTC. Alex, this whole thing was your idea. What prompted this whole endeavor?
I just thought it'd be funny. I was, my little brain was rattling around, and I was just you, me, and Joushi. Like, that's awesome. That's so beautiful. Mwah. We have to do something with it. Run with it. And so here we are. We are creating and experimenting and loving. And I think if there's anything in this world, that's all we can do. So we're gonna see where this takes us. We're gonna have a lot of fun with it, and hopefully you hear your opinion and we laugh at it, and you find out context is everything. So
yeah, I think we have a lot of potential ideas for where this could go for anybody who's currently watching. Our current idea, we're going to get some hot takes. It's going to be a pilot episode. Let us know what you like and don't like about this, and we can go from there. We have an idea of bringing on some of you guys to bring in your hot takes and actually defending them in the future. We have some other ideas. We are inspired by certain things on the internet as well. So if there are things that you like that you want to see more of in 40K, let us know. But Floof, I'm going to go ahead and come over to you at the very beginning, because we had a data slate this morning, and some of our factions didn't get any changes.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So we're just getting straight into the beef.
Twist the knife. Okay.
I don't understand a lot of things in life, and I think the thing that I understand the least is just really what the intern was thinking when they wrote the article leading into the data slate specifically, because like sentence by sentence I was just getting more annoyed. It started off when we look at the sentence, as far as faction performances goes, the game is in a pretty balanced state. No,
I don't know about that
one. With a handful of the best and worst performing armies getting most of the attention as far as points changes go. So in terms of worst performing armies, we have GSC got ignored, Drukhari got ignored, World Eaters got 10 points off of Berserkers, which is a nothing change. Agents got nothing, but of course, obviously, I could say Agents got nothing, and that would be true about any data slate for the past 2 years. What? But T-Suns got nerfed, but Dark Angels didn't. Well, maybe Dark Angels got.
They went up like
I don't know,
20 points. It's like, all right, cool, thank you.
Yeah, Josh Roberts, if you listen to this, you got to make it less obvious. you can't. You're not beating the accusations right now.
To me, I look at it and I'm just like, because also one of the most prevalent things that has been like the bane for GSC is like these 30 Terminator lists that are walking around, and they went up 10 points, and then the third squad went up 35 points, so they have to pay
Ooh.
55 more points. I, I don't think that fucking matters, dog.
Turns out those Terminators are still just as good at standing on an objective as they were before.
Who would have fucking thought that, you know, them having to modify and take out an enhancement or take out a scout squad doesn't fix the issue, right? And then yeah, not to jump around too much, but we look at like one. It looks like they just looked at the top 3 lists that performed at WTC and hit those and called it a day. Guard, they were like, hey, we know that the 200 guard spam list was the only way to play this viably, so instead we're just going to give you 16 tanks.
Yeah,
take all the sponsons off,
dude. Like, it's interesting. I've been looking at this for the past like several hours, right? And one of the big things that I keep coming back to with the guard changes is, look, Games Workshop, I appreciate that we are in your mind at all. There are some factions that clearly could have used it as well. However, every time I look at building, like, what if I had like 10 Russes in a list? I then go look at the dispositions and go, this doesn't play any of the missions at all. And if you do choose to play it in like the Purge, where you can do some funny things, you do no damage at all. So you're just like, well, you can pick buffs and then don't play the mission, or you can pick the mission and don't get any of the buffs. And so I'm like, what are we doing with this? I'm excited to see what other people who like Russes even more than I do, what they end up doing the faction. But I'm still just like, what if I was John Winter Russell but American for a little while?
Right. You know, the Treadheads really needed help. They really needed we didn't see enough tanks in this game the past couple of years. And so I'm glad that we could just see more tank spam.
Yeah. Alex, what has your experience been so far? Because as the resident T-Suns expert, they're clearly better than Dark Angels. They're clearly better than Custodes. They are clearly better than
demons. Yeah. Real quick, I have a simple answer for both of you. If you play Brood Brothers, I think enough Leman Russes can kill Terminators, and then you have bodies, and then there you go. So simple. I was, as a T-Suns player who's played for at least an edition, you get used to this kind of abuse. You really do. Where it's the joke of like, it's like Dark Angels are busted and nerf T-Suns. Every single time there's a data slate, the best you can hope for is that the fucking Mauler Fiend goes down 10 points. You're not getting any. They're not lifting the boot off you. My Tacoma list from 2 years ago is 200 points over what it used to be. They just keep nickel and diming you. They say, hey, your army rule is based off of characters. That sucks. Fuck you. Try again. It wasn't even so. T-Suns didn't even hasn't been overperforming. They've been in the T-Suns area where there's like 15 people who play this army, and they refuse to jump off of it until GW bucks like this and is like, no, dog, go find something else. We do not want you here. Wait until it's your turn. And so I don't know. It'll be fun.
We got to figure out which of those 15 people just one random GW employee just fucking hates.
I want to know so bad.
Because it really just feels like I'm not done nerfing this faction until you give up on it. Right?
Yeah. Whatever playtester they got in there who's just beating the tar out of everyone else, I'll Venmo you. We'll get a
Stop it. You need to calm down.
Yeah. Just take a dive, dog.
Take a beat.
I'm also really surprised because an army that I think has been kind of like on a similar power level to Thousand Suns, probably a little bit stronger, is Emperor's Children. And Emperor's Children, their second Defiler, not even the first one, the second Defiler went up 10 points, and then the Lord Exultant, their first two went up 10. I guess the third one also went up 10. So at worst, an Emperor's Children list went up 50 points. And I think a lot of people were only on one Defiler build in the first place. And then we see what happens to some of these other factions, just huh.
Yeah, EC's funny. Oh, sorry. After you.
No, go for it. Continue this. I was going to go.
Oh, okay. Thank you. EC's funny because I had a friend who went to a tournament and dropped 1 point in 5 rounds. where it's just like, oh, my defilers in Carnival, I rolled a 5 and now I'm on this terrain piece and I just fucking cleared 3 units. I think they did clip Carnival a bit, not enough to kick them off the faction. You just like, okay, I guess I have one less Lanesh piece, which is a bummer because that army is very overtuned. I think we're starting to see that the Defiler has an issue where if you give it a datasheet rule, it's too good. As a T-Suns enjoyer, they took that away from us, and it looks like, people don't run 2 Defilers anymore. So maybe they could do that with EC, or I don't know. The Death Guard one's still pretty good, but speaking of Death Guard, they got a lot of love.
This is
Very
true.
excited to see what it comes up with. I worry they're still not good enough because having been shot at by Mephitics and blow drones, okay, you hit me on 4s.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, I've never seen a Mephitic by hauler do anything. Unconvinced. Maybe he'll kill a rhino one day, but
I am just pissed because their whole change of like, oh, some factions, dropped some of the keywords to allow things to happen, right? And I was like, well, once again, GC's in a bad spot. I didn't see any points decreases, which, by the way, we're still working with a nerf from 10th edition. We took a huge major points hit, and then we got some things back, but it has not gone down from where we were.
Yeah.
We weren't in a good spot in 10th. But then I went and I looked, and Biosanctic still has the Pure Strain thing, so it can't be taken with Pure Straight Brune Swarm, which sure. But then it re-pissed me off because Host of Ascension and Xenocult have the same tag, except that Xenocult is 1 and Host is 3. So there is 2 restrictions as to why you can't run them. There's no 4 points. Even if you play
for those 3
game, it doesn't
really?
go
I'm
up
pretty
to
sure
4.
you can.
It's still at 3. No. That was just a figment of our fucking imaginations. That's not a thing. So
That's really funny.
No way you could play them together, and it's just like, it just felt like an extra like. It just reminded me to get angry again, basically, because I went to go look at that again, right? And I'm like, why does Death Guard get this? God, I just want. Sorry, I'm.
It's
ranting.
okay. Now, one of the things, Floof, that I want you to be aware of is Pacific Northwest has been haunted by people who've been playing Company of Hunters for the past like 3 years. Right, they've been playing it well before it was good, and recently, Alex and I went to an event, Throwdown at the Campground 4, where we played against a couple of those teams that just were like, "Oh, the army we've been playing for, multiple years at this point is just cracked." And I don't know about your team, Alex, but my team took one look at this and we're like, "Well, maybe we can flip it. Maybe we can deploy on the line and be the one that goes first and go kill them." But everything else was like, what do we do? How do we deal with this? And I don't know what your answer was. Did you guys feel like you had an answer?
No, not at all. We saw that everyone in my matrix was like, it's really bad, but if I get table choice. And I was like, dog, you were not doing that. That's not happening. And so we threw our noble and intrepid Custodes player, and I was like, you got to roll to go first. You got to go first.
Good
and
luck.
He comes up to me, he's like, oh, no, I went second. And I was like, just do what you can, soldier. Make your peace with God. It's coming.
Yeah,
and this game was like 45 minutes long. It was over.
Now, Floof, I'm actually really curious what your experience has been with this, because I don't know if GSC does this a whole lot, but I've recently had a couple of games and teams in particular, because I don't think Guard's in a particularly good spot, where like, well, the matchup sucks. However, if I deploy on the line and go first, maybe I can just kill them. And I hate that, because I sit there with these massive heart palpitations, like, if I gotta go first. But what has been your experience with that?
So specifically with Company of Hunters, I'll let you know my experience is, what is Company of Hunters again?
Dark Angel and Blanks.
Oh, okay, that one, yes. Okay. In terms of the just deploying on the line, I've just been having to do that in a team's aspect, because they always go, hey, GSC can play Disruption, and we're just going to bully you to do it. And I go, cool, dog.
Thanks.
And so the times where it was most prevalent was at Heroes Cup, right? To where everyone's off getting their own pairings, and they're just throwing me the fucking wolves. Every time everyone's like, here's a matchup we don't want. Floof, get in there,
Get in there.
And I'm like, all right, dog, I guess. And my whole list, I had just designed it as a blue purge list. of just like I've got 30 pure strengths, they're strength 5. If you even happen to like if that happens to change a breakpoint for you, dog, you're so fucked. 10 of these are 8 inches from your deployment zone. I'm going first. I don't care. And yeah, GSC is kind of this thing of like we can deploy very aggressively, and even if we lose 2 units, we're like cool resurgence points, and then we just continue on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember like specifically, I think my favorite one, I was playing into the Jukari player on Celeste team, and I had just like set up 2 of my pure strand squads, and I was like, I think I just like deploy these guys 8 inches from your lines and say fuck it. I go first. I draw overwhelming, and I look and I go, well, the only things on points are the bikes and the scourges on your home point. So I'm probably not going to get it. Anyways, I'm going to roll to advance the front pure strands. Oh, I got a 6. And that turn ended with me going, okay, so I'm going to get a 5 on overforce. So, I'm more than fine deploying on the line.
Yeah.
Because we always roll to go first. We always go first here.
Easy.
Right? And you block out going second into your mind.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt, but the Jukari player's name is Jared, big chiller.
Yes.
He is sponsored by Twisted Tea, so.
He is?
Oh, he is?
No, but he always gives me one.
Oh, okay,
So,
okay.
He says
Crazy.
you want to
Jared.
get Twisted, and I say,
Yeah.
of course, thank you.
Yeah, the Ripper Swarms are great. I agree.
Love those.
By the way, Celeste bullies the fuck out of that team. My God.
And look where they get, and look at what they get. All right, sometimes it's okay.
Dude,
Sometimes if you don't have an opinion,
she basically walked by and was like, "Oh, you're getting tabled." You're like, "Yeah," and you're like, "Well, do better." And I'm like, Celeste, what the fuck, dog?
so funny.
Because now I feel like
funny.
the asshole.
See, that's the thing is if she bullies you,
God, I love her.
or she
She's so
bullies her
fucking
team
funny, dude.
enough that you feel bad and like, oh, we'll let you get to 51. It's okay.
Yeah.
We'll let you get to
Skill
51.
diff. I also, you said something that really resonated with me, Floof, in that you built a disruption list as a purge list. For this campground event, I am a noble and kind soul. I'm a gentle creature. And so I assembled 8 of people who could say yes to my event. And
It was a
one of
pretty
the
strong
caveats
team.
it was a strong team. It was all over the grapevine. And none of them wanted to play disruption. And I was really hoping I had a sicko on my team. No such luck. And so I took Blood Legion.
In disruption, to be clear.
List. In disruption, I took it. It was 18 Blood Crushers and Bellacore and Scarbrand, and I cut the second Rendmaster and Nurglings, I think, for like Screamers and Bloodletters, and I was like, this is enough trash. 2 Flash Hounds and those 2, and largely it was actually. If you can, as the humble disruption player, never play against Recon or Take and Hold, and really not prio either, you're doing great. You're doing fine, but. Yeah, that was my experience. I'm actually considering playing Disruption in Challengers Cup because I'm just a sicko for it. I think it's fun to be the underdog and to be like, have no respect from any of your opponents, being like, oh, sorry that you had to do this. And
I
I'm
heard
like,
you
yeah,
scammed the hell out of my buddy Alejandro.
Listen, here's how it went down. Alejandro knew what the fuck a Blood Surge move was. And so was outplaying me by like putting spawn right in front of my shit and being like, do you want to do this? And I'd say, no, sir, thank you. And it got to the point where I had one doggy unit, pig unit, whatever, on his natural for like 2 turns, just clearing out the jackals. And he sends 10 berserkers and Vicatus to come deal with that. And he does summarily destroy that unit, but I smartly fought on death. And I rolled 5 out of 6 on my 4-ups. And I had also very wisely clicked that unit with Renmaster because I was like, if I get to do this. And so what I did was I basically full activated with the unit and cleared entirely 100-0 that unit. And I had my character still alive, and the character went and fucking eventually won a fight against a rhino on his home. It was so cool. I could tell the air left his body when that happened. He was never at any point was he like negative about it, but he was like, man, that was really lucky. And I was like, wow, that's really good for me. Now I have the unit left alive, not you. And so Bellacore, like, I was gonna advance the charge to kill jackals, but I was like, nah, Bellacore needs to actually survive. So we shot Karn, grenaded Karn, and I was like, okay, you can come kill this unit, but I got bailed out. So
Bellicor has explosives?
no. In Blood Legion, one of the strats is explosions, and so the Ren Master did it. The Ren Master did it. He tank shocked when Karn got back up, and I basically cleared out my flank after that.
Nice.
I love I know you said no, but I love the mental image of just a Bellicor being like, think fast, idiot, and then just chucking out a grenade at someone.
It's like a
So
flaming
funny.
skull.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, with that out of the way, with Bellicor throwing that, I think it is time to start getting to the meat and potatoes of what we're looking to do. So originally, this came on with the idea. We were very inspired by watching other people on the internet do hot takes and talk to viewers. However, we're scared of you guys, and so we wanted to start off with getting all of these takes off of Discord. So, because Floof and I are massive content creators, we asked people in our Discords for all of their hot takes. We're going to go through some of them. We're going to give you guys credit, and then we're going to talk about where we feel with that. I'm going to go ahead and start with some of them coming in from your Discord here, Floof. I've not read any of these, but Floof thought that they were good enough for you guys to hear about. Starting off with Keen Gamer. Either remove Psychic completely or bring back a full phase with powers again. The state it's in just sucks and pleases no one. Alex, I think we should start with you as the T-Suns player.
Yeah, so this is a great question. In ninth, I played Sisters, and as you all know, in ninth, Sisters had a rule on top of all their other rules, where if you rolled a 5 up, your opponent's spell just got countered. And so I literally never lost to T-Suns, and I thought it was a bad army. I was like, that sucks. And so in 10th, when they got rid of the Psychic phase, then I went in on T-Suns, because the amount of times I watched my opponent lose the game because he did not successfully roll 2d6 in the right order was embarrassing and unbecoming. And I liked what Psychic was in 10th. I thought it was cool. I thought it was not impactful, really. It was almost like a flavor thing more than an actual phase. But the reintroduction of all the orc stuff is a little bit I'm a little bit nervous for it, because 11th Ed from 10th Ed is reintroducing a lot of rules bloat, and I don't know if GW knows how to handle that. So we'll see. And also, they're probably going to reintroduce anti-psychic stuff, and that's even harder to balance. As someone who's lost a fucking Magnus to the Hounds of Mordecai, I just don't trust them to make this army either unplayable or playable.
I don't know, man. The soul yearns for old Psychic phase. Like, I get that not every army could do it, like your Necrons and your Sisters and all that kind of stuff. There was just some armies that just didn't participate. But you could do like a Sigmar thing to where some armies have hymns and chants because they pray to a god, and others, are doing magic bullshit, right? And so you could have a Psychic phase to where the Admech and the Necrons are just typing onto a computer, right? And then that interacts with each other. And sure, the Necrons player can't stop the T-Suns guy from doing this thing, but the T-Suns guy can't stop the Necron player from uploading a bunch of AI images of this guy going and doing things he shouldn't, like, slashing people's tires, and now everyone's mad at him. Thusly, you get +1 to wound.
That was the most PG-13 version that I could possibly expect.
I just kind of let my mouth go like halfway through.
I was just like I was worried as soon as you started that.
This is a floodgate I've opened. Let's divert.
No, keep going. I want to hear what you're thinking.
So we bailed out of that real quick. But yeah, like, and that's kind of fun in and of itself, right? Of like, who can do the solitaire better? I don't know. I would love to see old Psychic come back. I think I'm more fine with the Psyker levels things, so long as most armies get some kind of access to at least Psyker 2 or cool abilities, right? Just because, listen, I know it's going to come to GSC and they're like, oh, but they're just little idiots, so everyone's Psyker 1. Man, let me have the Patriarch or the Bennies at Psychic 2 or something. Let me do something cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it ends up being unmanageable, then fine. Don't bring it back. But I think it's cool.
So here's my take.
I think what they have right now is not.
Yeah, here's my take about Psychic. I thought Psychic in 10th was boring as shit. Like, it was just like roll a 2-up, and I remember I won a game because my opponent was like, I'm going to make my Avatar of Cain -1 to wound. oh no, I rolled a 1. Well, I'm not going to put the avatar out in the middle of the army then. It's like, okay, well, yeah, and that was just the tempo that I needed to win the game.
Yep.
That said, I can't remember the last time I rolled a psychic test. My army doesn't do that. I probably did it like twice in ninth edition. But the bigger thing for me is I don't like the idea necessarily of the psychic phase so much as having it spread out throughout the course of the game. And the big thing that I really like about it is I appreciate all the whimsy that we're seeing in the orcs do stuff like the dread mob and their stuff. Or like, if you roll a 1, get fucking shit on. Your opponent gets a 4 up invul, and on a 6, they die. Right? It's just like having this kind of like more chaos as part of the psychic phase is like, or not the psychic phase, but psychic in general is really what I like about it. So do I want a phase? No, I'm okay with it like being split up. Like, hey, this is a shooting attack, so it happens in the shooting phase. Hey, this is a melee buff, so it happens in the fight phase. Whatever it is, but I do want a little bit more whimsy. I am okay losing games when the dice are funny, right? It's like being an orc. It's okay to lose if it was violent or funny.
Yeah, I
I'm
certainly can't wait to Hand of Nagash my opponent's Night Crusader with Magnus.
Which
That is
hand is
something
it?
that- Which one? You better fucking get this right. The joke is it was in neither.
Ooh.
T-Sun's moment. Yeah, I don't disagree, and I'm so excited to see, and I love the "that's weird" kind of thing. I think I'm optimistic about them as long as they don't make it overly interactive. Like Corn with 3-up says "fuck you." I also think 2-ups are the devil. Just make it an ability or don't. You know, I know it's like cinema when it doesn't happen or whatever, but like the game's already so variable based. Like, why do we have to have this punishing mechanic?
I am almost of the fact that like I think it's just fine to bring back the psychic phase. I think the whole like, oh, it's tedious and some people can't interact with it. Yeah, dog, that's the shooting phase. like, like we have these phases to where you just kind of sit on your hand while your opponent does their turn, right? I don't think it's that bad, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't mind. I think it's interesting. I do hope they do a little bit more with it. It does look like they are. So I am cautiously optimistic as I am with almost everything the Games Workshop does. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the next one. Another one from Floof's Discord. We have, this is their name. I did not come up with this. It is Gene Pilled Cult Cell. I think that getting cover while being in the same building as the unit shooting at you is stupid. Floof.
A skill issue. I flipped over a table in the cafeteria.
That's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
No, it's so weird to have someone like my tank that is in combat with you is going to shoot its gun at you. And I'm just able to be like, well, you're -1 to hit because we're in combat, and then you're -1 ballistic skill because I'm standing in a building, but so are you. So you're actually -2 to hit. So enjoy hitting me on 6s, dog. I don't know. It's funny. I have no thoughts either way. I think it would get so meticulous if that rule wasn't there of like, well, now I'm gonna shift this. Like it starts to. I could see people caring about the millimeters more if it was the other way around. If that makes sense. So I think it's just if you touch terrain, you win cover. Smiley face. Oh. I don't know.
I think as a competitively oriented 40k player, I cannot help but carry with me certain preclusions. And one of them is all the models have to face your opponent, stuff like that. There's like that little narrative bug that I grew up with that I'm just like, if it's not gonna int the game, I'm gonna do it. And for me, like I understand why it's not the case. I understand why you still get cover if there's a tank B feet away from you. But that little bell in my ear is ringing, and I agree with you, dear commenter, that it
Dear
doesn't
cult
make
cell.
sense.
Your cult cell.
Dear base Giga Chad cult cell. It doesn't make sense, and it's unintuitive, but it is bad. It's a growing pain for making the game balanced and more intuitive in general. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like, to me, this is going always back and forth between what are we doing in terms of like, are we simulating or are we playing a game, right? Because right now, shooting things from my tread is like, well, That's what the game says we're doing. However, there's like, it feels like weird. I do think if you're both in the same terrain piece, I actually think you should get covered just because, like what Floof said at the very beginning, is like, you know, these are not empty buildings. There's rubble all over the place. You can like get down and hide, or there's like a table in the way or whatever. To me, that intuitively makes sense, but I don't begrudge people for not feeling the same way about that one. All right. Let's go. We're going to grab some people from my Discord. We're going to start off with one of my favorite guard players in the world, Dingbat, aka David Purcell. Guard units should get cheaper if we take multiple of the same unit because logistics gets easier with duplication, not harder.
I think it'd be
No.
really interesting if you got a refund for bringing multiples of a certain unit. I think that's something worth considering. I don't know if guard's the place to do it historically. Maybe like make certain battle line options cheaper. Add some granularity back to the game. I was just chatting about who has the worst battle line in the game. I'm unsure what the answer is, but like
The worst
I think it's
battle
cool.
line.
I think it's almost like reverse engineering a force org, where you're like if you fill it out this way, you get a cool bonus. Where I think is better than like you are not incentivized to fill it out the other way at all. Where it's like the third defiler will cost you 700 points, as opposed to like, you'll get -20 if you take the third guys. So I think it's a cool thing to bring up. I just don't think guard is the context to do it. Maybe it is, but
I, in theory, when I look at my army, love this because I'm like, hell yeah, dog, windmill slamming 6x20 neophytes. I'm just packing out the house, right? 6x10 or 5 Flacos, we're fucking going for it. And then the second I think about another person doing this, I'm going, wait, no, that's illegal. You're
Stop, citizen.
You're not allowed to do that. And I go, you know what? As much as I want it, I want you to not have it even more. So no.
I do think that there are a handful of units that having access to the unit at all is the thing that is powerful, right? Whereas having more access to the same rule is like, whatever. So I do think that there are some data sheets that might exist out there where you could have like subsequent ones be cheaper. However, this is definitely going back to that simulationism. I don't think we can do this for most things, but I do think it is a very entertaining idea.
To just scare people away from this idea, and obviously we're talking about this is meant for like the lowly guardsmen, right? But just to really like give you the boogeyman so it's scared out of your system, cheaper Vitrix. Just that third squad.
it doesn't always have to be, like every data sheet, the third one gets cheaper. But I think like, when's the last time you've seen 3 infiltrator squads, Stuff like
I don't want to
where
see
it's
it
like,
again. Dude, one of the hardest games of my life, we were playing at Slaneshmas, and I played up against Max, and Max was blitzed out of his mind. And he was playing 18 Victrix. That game was so hard.
Yeah. I mean, Tim walked through my army with 18 Victrix round 1 on layout 8. I was like, cool. There was never a chance. There was literally never a fucking chance. But.
Yeah.
The most fucked game of 40k I ever played was I played into a guy that was like 18 Space Wolves. This was I think 10th edition might have been, no, yeah, it was 10th edition. It was 18 Space Wolves. I was on Index GSC, and then or not Space Wolf, Thundercav. And then it was 3x5 of infiltrators with the Phobos librarian attached. So they also got Lone Op. And I was like, this list is designed to tell me to go fuck myself. I've never met a more anti-host bullshit list in my entire fucking life. I was rapid ingressing not to go shoot the Thundercav, but to go shoot those fuck-ass infiltrators because they were just pissing me off. That sucked. So I played against it, and admittedly, it was one of the hardest losses I've ever taken 40k. So, maybe there's some sauce there to win. That's how you win your games.
That's such
Jesus.
a Chad I'm so bummed. A quick aside, I'm so bummed because Space Marines have so many cool things you can do right now. There's so many cool combinations, especially with, the advent of the dispositions, and I feel like so disincentivized to looking at them because we're staring down the barrel of a codex. And admittedly, once we get the new codex, we'll have so much more to look at. But I'm lamenting all of those like armies that never got played that were really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to do the orc thing. One new disposition combination every day for a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I got another
My
fun
team
one.
will love that.
Yeah. I got another really fun one here from Bob Likes Beer. Remember my Discord. 2 CP, make your opponent re-roll a die.
Absolutely. Windmill slam that shit. Fuck you. And I'm doing it every time that they have spent a CP to re-roll a save. I'm saying 2 CP, no, re-roll that shit again.
You rolled that 12? That's not happening. 2 CP, you're not making that charge. Fuck you.
Make it once per game and I'm all in.
Mm.
I think just like
Absolutely.
I think it's fun once per game.
Yeah, once per
Just
game,
like,
2 CP.
Oh, you really needed this 9. I also make it like you can't reroll or reroll, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's weird because like sisters don't give a fuck about this. You're like, okay, here's my 6, fuck you. But everyone else is suddenly like, is this where you do it? When I pass this battle shock check, like reroll that dice.
Hold on. I to tangent off of that, to even go further down the rabbit hole. Sisters, 1 CP, miracle die, one of your opponents die.
That legitimately, that should
Now
probably be a stratagem.
Now all of your ones come online. Here's a melt to save, dog. By the way, 1 CP, here's your save.
I would love for GW to do something with ones instead of just like feeding Fidelis another fucking magazine.
Yeah.
Because like in fucking 9th, leadership lower was better, so you're like, oh, here's my 1, I'm gonna auto pass this. And now it's like, okay, my fucking battle sister stood still, I advanced, I used the cherub, I rolled the 1 into something else. And it's like, can we have something fun? I think it's kind of cool to do that, but I think it's like it'd have to be in like 1 detachment.
Yeah.
And 1 like otherwise bad.
And it can't be a 1-point detachment. It cannot be a
no, surely not. No, you gotta be all in on this. Yeah.
It's gotta be like the sisters flavor detachment where they're not running as many meltas.
Yeah. Some Ebon Chalice bullshit. Ebon Chalice was like you could combine 2 miracle dice into a 6. So you could do that. Let's make it the funny miracle dice detachment.
That could be interesting. Yeah. I think we're all on board. I do think if this was like a once per game, I also think it's a really good like house rule to have if you're not, if you're not playing like tournament games or whatever. I would be super down to just like have this be a thing in your crusade you're playing. Just include it. It sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
For what
it's very Zinch coded, I think.
I will acknowledge it's terrible for the health of the game. I personally feel like.
Sorry, Melee players.
So toxic. I think it's just dog shit. But at the same time, it's so fucking funny, dude. It's so funny. I windmill slam that shit every time.
Is it toxic if everyone has it, Like
if everyone's toxic, then no one is.
Yeah, it's just part of the game now.
It'd be very fun, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Can I abduct it?
Yes.
Because there's one in here that I do love from my server that I just feel like it's a banger. Hot take: detachments should disallow dispositions instead of allowing dispositions.
Oh, Davis Sentis coming out.
Davis Sentis.
That's interesting, actually. Okay.
IQ too high.
It like almost brings me down this trail of thought because I've really gotten into kill team lately, and all of your different kill teams, you have like 2 different secondaries that you can pick from, secondary like trees. And so it's almost like that, to where either way, like if your detachments had either 2 dispositions or it just said you can't take these 2, I think that'd be sick, right? And then
if it's GSC so bad you're playing kill team.
Yes. Kill team's fun.
Kill team looks fun.
Actually, so fun.
It looks good. Yeah.
Also,
you can go to WTC as kill team.
The GSC in Kill Team actually feel like GSC, whereas 40k GSC doesn't. But that's a whole different hot take we can get into a different day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
so
I like this take.
I think it's interesting. So to go back into it, I kind of want to get some clarification. So let's just say you have Host of Ascension. The Host of Ascension says you cannot play Purge. Does that just mean you get to pick the other 4?
Yeah. I would say if you wanted to implement it, it disallows you from 2. Because then what that starts to get into is 1, or maybe it should be 1 each, because I have it. It disallows you based on the amount of points it is. If it's a 2-point detachment, it takes you out of 2. If it's a 1-pointer, it takes you out of 1. Because if it's 2 each, then all the 1-pointers, there's a chance to where your combination doesn't allow you to take any disposition. So I think there should be a world to where effectively how you build your list can block you up from up to 3 dispositions. And then that's a choice, right? Oh, I would love to take this 1-pointer, but I'm building this list to really do take and hold, and this detachment doesn't allow me to do take and hold. So now, like, we have to figure something out, right?
Yeah.
What I was thinking was maybe this is the wrong direction. If it's a 3 DP, then you get to pick. You basically cancel out 2 of them, or 3 of them even. Where you're incentivized from. This is like a real attraction for taking a 3DP, because a lot of the 3DPs aren't really getting played. I feel
there's some fucking cracked 1DPs out there.
Yeah, because exactly. The cost to ride is like, yeah, exactly. It's like, is it worth it? And so I think maybe that's an interesting incentive for 3DPs. Like, hey, you could pick between one of these 2.
I do know we started seeing that in the Orc Codex, right? There's a couple of the detachments that do have multiple dispositions.
What?
No, I haven't seen that.
That's what I've been. My Orc player said that that's how it's going to be working. There's like a couple of them where you can pick.
That's a weird boy.
We saw an all guy in the comments,
right,
dude.
Yeah. I do think this is an interesting idea. I do like having a little bit more freedom with the dispositions, because right now sometimes like, well, I don't, Aspect Host was bad because it was disruption, right? Like you didn't want to do that. But if you could say like, hey, Aspect Host, you can play in Prio or Recon, like suddenly you go, that's kind of interesting. You still won't ever play in Take and Hold, but
it'd be
like,
interesting.
I think it's still like as a bailout is good, right? Because even if we did the thing of like 1 per point,
yeah,
right, then Aspect Host being a 3-point, it would be like no disruption or purge, and then you're like, well, I've got Take and Hold, Recon, and whatever the other one is, Prio. You can work with that, right? Like, I think that'd be good.
Do you think it'd be too busted if Epic Heroes unlocked dispositions?
I
don't like that idea.
Fine.
I already see every faction's named character every single fucking game.
And you're jealous.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, I am.
Name your killer morphs. It's fine.
God. If the Patriarch allowed me to bring disruption, sure, fine, fuck it. But like,
yeah,
man.
All right, I got another fun one for you guys. This one's coming in from 6++ Jack. The guard player population is no more casual than any other faction other than maybe Space Marines. It's just a more punishing faction to play than most.
Okay. Just a more punishing faction than most. I
could see the smile on Alex's face starting to come through.
Do you want to feel this? Because I need like 2 minutes to think about how to say this and be nice.
Listen, if you want me to build a cross for you to get on, I'll do it. I think that's an insane take. Like, every T-Sense player says the same shit where it's like, yeah, it's just a hard army. So, of course, we only have a small dedicated force, blah, blah, blah. We would be higher. That's insane. Guard, in my opinion, and this is as a guard observer, not a guard player, I feel like orders are fundamentally one of the strongest examples of skill expression in the game. Especially, like, you look at someone like Nemo, who has literally got it down so perfectly that the way he does it is trickles down to every other player's mind, where it's like, oh, I didn't put the fucking token on the second floor. You could have always done that, but like, there are certain people on this planet who intuit it so well and who can, like, I'm not gonna say abuse, but execute in a very efficient way that ability. Like, having access to what you do makes, in my opinion, it makes Eldar look bad in comparison of like power level of army ability. And historically, that power level is curbed by how weak the data sheets are. And you could tell me I'm wrong here. This is just my observation of it. And so you're constantly balancing like these like mediocre data sheets to these really strong army rules. And I think like I don't think that's like very hard to do, but I think it takes a lot of knowing how to play the game. Like I've always considered Guard a good army for good players and a bad army for bad players, just because with what you have access to, you can make a lot of wrong decisions. But I wouldn't say it's like more difficult than anything else.
Flufer, have you had time to rally your
No,
thoughts?
so if no,
No.
I've ran out of time to try and be nice. So if my army rule says, "Hey, you can be good and win the game so long as you don't stick your thumb up your ass," and then you
But it's so tempting.
"Oh, bop." Dog, I don't know how to fucking help you there, big dog. You give either +1 ballistic skill, you get +3 fucking move. What the fuck are we talking about here, dog? You can get +1 save. You have so many things to just bail you the fuck out. And as someone who has worked with an army rule that says, "Hey, dog, you need to die first before you kind of get something," right? With worse data sheets, politely from the bottom of my heart, and I say this as someone who has played guard for a good portion. I love the army. It's fucking great. Skill issue.
Yeah, I think this one's interesting. Go ahead.
I agree with Pina. The ceiling is high, and if you try and emulate that, and you can use the rules against yourself, right? You can definitely outsmart yourself. That is a thing, yes. But I think also sometimes the rules are just like the floor is I need to move somewhere. Oh, I can't, I'm not close enough. Move. Hey, I can now move there with my chaff unit, right? Oh, my Dorn is going to walk out and shoot this thing. I should probably give it +1 ballistic skill. Oh, my guys are going to get shot. Oh, I'll go ahead and take cover. Oh, I'm going to charge in, fix bayonets. Like it just is so, you have a tool for everything, for going in, for you being a utility piece, for being defensive. You have everything. So long as you can just look at the board and be like, hey, I'm probably going to be doing this turn, right? And even then, we can see that guard players can change it by being able to rapid ingress Gaunt's Ghosts and chain stuff like on the fly, right? The versatility and the power of the army rule is obscene, and the depth that the guard players have to pull from in terms of units is something of like, I feel like you can kind of gear this towards anything. Now, that being said, I feel like I'm talking like an expert when Joushi is right fucking here next to me, but
I do think there's a couple
one more
things.
thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Real quick, I think guard players suffer more than any other player that they think there's a force org they have to abide from. That they're like, no, I need tanks. I need a tank and I need a guy with my tanks. And I need guys, I need a character with my guys. Because that's how an army looks. And my heart goes out for them because Games Workshop has not made that very viable. And I see this a lot with the guard community where it's like, I don't want to play a million idiots and break my back. I just want to play with my cool models. And I think that's fine. I think my heart does go out to them because I want you to play with your cool models. But Games Workshop does not. They don't care. And so you have to find the balance of like, if you're cool going 3-2, play your fucking Lehman Russes.
Yeah. Now I got a couple things that I kind of want to get out and see if you guys agree. One, I think guard when piloted perfectly is oppressive.
yes.
Yeah. And like, you're playing a really good guard player, you never felt like you had a chance, right? Two,
It's disgusting.
yeah. Secondly, I think if you're playing against a guard player that is worse than you, it is way easier to 20 a guard player, like, a mediocre to bad guard player than a lot of other armies.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
I don't know if
they don't ever know how to build a defense. I feel like a lot of guard players just move models around, and you're really cool with that because if they moved them in the correct order, you wouldn't be able to play the game. But if they don't know what they're doing, you can find a weak spot, extrapolate it, like just really table the guy or just make sure the tanks don't do anything, right? Like if they misposition their tanks because you tell them you have a fucking las gun or las cannon and they hide their tanks, you're like, great. Sweet.
Mhm.
But if they shove their tanks at you and have a bunch of dudes in front of you and you're a melee army, you're like, cool, I can't win.
Yeah. Floof, you said you don't really agree
Mm.
with that.
I do and I don't. As a humble GSC player who looks at a tank with the 2-up armor and goes, gonna need something for that. There definitely has been some times to where, like, not necessarily that the game was a little bit closer just based off the data sheets they had and the rules that they had access to, right?
Yeah.
Of hey, I sure hope my aberrants can exist. Oh, you just shot it with everything and they're hitting on like 3s and 2s. I will in fact go fuck myself. Thank you for asking. I don't know. I definitely think, like, yes, you know, if they do just kind of close their eyes and just walk at you, yes, they do lose, but I feel like that's for every faction.
Yeah.
But you had more points. I do have one silver bullet at the end of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
But give your other points.
I think the main thing for me is that Guard is an army that I think is incredibly easy to route, right? Like, as soon as like one thing breaks, it just falls down, and there's no way out. There's very little access to fall back and shoot. There's very little access to fall back and charge, and we tend to play the Castlan because it is like one of the very few things that lets us do that. But you know, if that gets precisioned out, or like the 2 tanks get tagged and you can only shoot one of them, suddenly you don't do anything. And I think that's one of the big things that comes up with Guard a lot, and one of the major pain points for a lot of Guard players is they don't understand how to make sure that doesn't happen. And I think you know, you compare this to some, like, obviously the classic example is Gladius, right? It's like, oh, that entire army can fall back and advance and shoot and charge and whatever, you know, does whatever. There are, you know, escape hatches that I think a lot of armies do have access to that Guard does not have access to. And I think in that sense, I do agree that Guard is punishing, right? You're going to lose a lot of your early games because you don't understand how to do the things to make sure that you don't need any of these escape hatches, which is like,
sure,
you know, I think because it's such a high skill, because it's such a high skill expression army, you do end up finding people, like we said, it is oppressive when it's played very well, but it's also, if you can find the mistake that they made, you can just completely collapse it. So I think in that sense, it is more punishing.
I think at the top of the bell curve of 40K, specifically the 40K competitive community, there exists a either conscious or otherwise desire to just like stat check your opponent. You don't have to think as hard. And it's like, okay, and I think genuinely, like, every time I go to a teams event, there's like 1 or 2 Guard players who just brought a bunch of tanks. And I think it's their attempt to being like, I can do this. And they'll get diff. They'll get some amount of diff. It's not, you know, really like an exciting amount, but they can push models forward, not think, and score some diff. And I think, I'm not calling Guard players that. They all want that. But I'm saying, like, at the top of every community, there exists this like group of people. And I think Guard does it not great compared to like Knights, Triple Land Raiders, armies that will go like absolutely put your face into the dirt if they do that. And so I think a lot of the we'll say like discontentment with the Guard community is based off of them not being able to be at the top of the bell curve in that way.
Yeah, Flu, if you had a silver bullet for us.
So here's the thing. Every faction is going to be filled with the people who are here are our collection of competitive players. Here's our hobby boys over here who are like half comp players, half hobby. And then just our little fluff players who just like, you know, here's my fun, cool list that's thematic to this one book or one design idea, right? And that's fine. And, you know, talking of the like, you know, Guard is the hardest army for the people who are the most casual in the game. I think that sentiment is true because for Gene Stealer cults, our most casual all of our casual players, all of the people who are just in here and just vibing and just fucking chilling, all play Brood Brothers. So they're just playing Guard. And so it's Guard in your faction and Guard in my faction. You motherfuckers are in 2 and telling me you're in 0. Get the fuck out of here.
It's Lehman
really
Russes
funny.
all the way down.
It's, dude, the first ping as soon as the data site hit was like, tanks
Brood
are low.
Brothers?
Do we just want to spam this in Brood Brothers? And I was like, I have a gun. And
That's
will
what I said.
come
I said
at
I can
you.
fix both of your armies. Just play Root Brother.
The casual player right here, Alex
Ugh.
Pina.
Yeah.
God.
Look, you can ignore cover in GSC really easily.
Yeah. The
For
one
GSC units, it doesn't affect the guard.
Just cheat.
just
So
cheat.
easy.
Yeah. The one other thing
GSC players love to do that.
that I do want to throw out before we move on to something else is one of the things that does happen a lot, and I feel like I am better than most of the guard players. I don't think that's a controversial
You
statement.
think you're better than
Yeah.
most guard players?
That's crazy. But I think the follow up to that is there's a lot of people, right? There's a conversation that happened today in my Discord where they were, unhappy with the Art of War memes guy, who I will not, dox or anything like that.
Redacted. Yeah.
But I think I understand the frustration that other players have with guard. But I also, there needs to be like a little sympathy, I think, on the other side of like, you just need to get good. And it's like, there's like definitely an element of truth to that. Like, if they were all better players, then this problem wouldn't exist. However, we are in the very top of the bell curve, right? We can't do that. We have to like have a little bit of sympathy for all the people who pay for our price support.
Yeah.
Can
I agree completely. Like, I feel like guard, and to summate everything I've been saying, like guard is a army with bad data sheets and good rules. And so it's like, for you, if you don't know how to like effectively execute on the good rules part, you're just going to lose games.
Yeah. And most people don't. And most people never will. And I think that's
Right.
just have to accept, like, can you get good? Yes, there are ways to do that, but also just like understand that not everybody cares enough or wants to, and they just want to play with their little toy dudes.
Yeah, it's also exasperated when you're like, Nemo, build his list. That's really good. You're like, I physically do not want to. This is torturous. Please don't make me.
Yeah.
And so there's no alternative archetypes, which is a bummer.
Can I give my hot take to this hot take?
I love
part
hot
of
takes.
Our hot take. So hear me out. I think this whole specific part of the discussion has animosity because it's a miscommunication and neither side are realizing it. Because on one side, it is Art of War and the Nemos and all the stuff saying guard is competitive. Okay, guard just is. Guard is a good army. It works and you can win games with it. And then it is the more casual side of guard players being like, guard is in a terrible spot. We only have one good list, right? We like the internal balance is all fucked, right? Those aren't the same relevant fucking conversations. They're not. Because what it is saying, does guard have a viable list to where you can go win an event? Yes, then it's competitive. How good is it at doing that thing, right? That is what we as competitive players are talking about, right? I'm not happy with 80% of GSC, but I think I can go win an event with X list. Thusly, I think it's good, right? That is where the Art of Wars and the Nemos and everyone putting guard in A tier says is the guard build is right here. And then people being like, but my other build is not there. And it feels like rest of guard is not there. Both statements are fucking true. And you guys are just thinking you're having the same conversation and you're just not. And like, that's what it is, right? The 40K meme or the AO Art of War meme guy isn't telling you that every single unit in the faction is good, because they're not. It's the internal balance. And you're allowed to be upset about the internal balance of it. When the units I like aren't good, yeah, dog, that sucks. I feel for you. We're just having different conversations, right? And so, like, the understanding of where everything is around that just kind of, I don't know. I don't know how to land this plane, but yes, both people, like, you guys are saying the same. Both of you are correct. You're just not having the same conversation, and you're getting annoyed because you're not realizing, right?
Agreed.
I too want guard to be good, but at the same time, guard technically right now has a build that is competitive. Thusly, guard is competitive. So I hope that all made sense.
I agree. Any closing thoughts, Pina, before we got another one?
We see you. We hear you. You're valid. You're entirely valid. Guard
Thanks.
community, keep complaining.
Guard
We will.
Guard need like a sign or something. Like I don't want to just start throwing up symbols because it might just be some type of bad thing that I don't know about. But like we're here, dog.
Yeah. All right.
What's a guard salute? Do they also? No, that's the.
I think they
what's a
do the-
guard
That is
salute?
the U.S. Army, my friend.
I think they do the
I know
Aquila,
it is.
right? But I'm not sure if that's
What,
like
they
a
just go,
real
like-
thing. Well, now that you've done it, yeah, I think that's actually what they do. Like in like all the
Do they actually? I
Yeah,
was joking.
Ghostface Killer. Oh my
That's
god.
the hell yeah.
yeah. All right, I got one from Hobbs. Probably a cold take, but G-Dub needs to be more open with their balancing decisions. Either with something like patch notes or an explanation of the changes and why they're making them. Ideally, something like Freak did for League of Legends or Mort Dog did for TFT. These would do a couple things that I think are
Yes.
healthy for the game. Blah blah blah. That's the main point of it.
Give me a why. Give me a fucking why. And if that why is just like shareholders wanted this unit good, dog, fucking be honest with me. That's fine. I'll take it. But give me some type of loop before you fuck me. All right. Something. Sorry. I should have asked what the rating is.
I don't mind. Yeah.
Demonetized.
Demonetized.
Right. Oh, I've said worse shit on my channel and been monetized the whole time. It'll be fine. It's yeah, it just builds goodwill with the community, right? It keeps people in check. The upper players tend to kind of understand why some decisions might be made, and I think this just helps like everyone else, right? Just the little Timmies, the mid-table menaces, all that kind of stuff of just being like, a very good one recently has been like Marvel Rivals when Huang Wang, I think his name is, I'm terrible at remembering it, but he will come on and be like, the past season was this, right? You know, Dive was super good. We saw these characters being like super strong. And so we wanted to nerf that and we want to take the game into this direction to where it's a more brawl comp or maybe a poke meta or something like that. So we're understanding that we're making certain things not good so that this is the meta we're looking at, right? Some like type of overall thing that just is a check. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to like go off there.
Oh, you're good, Alex.
I genuinely am not confident they have a regulatory body that can compile all of their opinions. I feel like it's like maybe one person
I volunteer.
texting their playtesters, right? That'd be great.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one person testing playtesters or like otherwise looking at like event data and being like, well, this is probably what we do. I do think like they have the fucking money and the time to just like, please in the article where you just drop the links, don't just drop the fucking links. Like, please give like, this is what changed for this army. Like what they did with the dispositions for each like overarching kind of, where it's like Xenos had this. They can do it and they've shown us they can do it. And you only do one of these fucking once a month. Like, what else are you doing? Well, no one else is reading your Warcom articles. I'm sorry. At least I'm not. I know the AOS models or whatever they want to sell, but like,
They're very pretty.
yeah, I'm not even asking so much for context because I understand like if things get nerfed, I am plugged in enough to understand why I feel. Or unless you're a T-Sense player and I'm like, where did you find this? But I would just love more visualization and ease of visualization for us to not have to spend 20 minutes going through MFMs to just disseminate the information.
Yeah. I think one of the big things that we're kind of looking at is I cannot imagine that it is only Josh Roberts on the balance team, but he's the only one that is like publicly known that people talk about. And I'm gonna be honest, the people on the internet are not nice to him. Right? It is rough. Part of it is I think
Weirdly so, by the way.
yeah,
Like,
I think he gets
is
way too
not-
much hate.
Yeah,
He's not
I
even
agree.
like the head guy on the balance team. He's a guy they just brought in, right? He doesn't get final say on anything. Like,
Yeah.
there's sometimes where like the meme of like, oh, Space Marines got buffs again, so Joshy boy could go win an event. Like, sure, that's kind of fine, right? But when it's like there's actual genuine hate this guy gets, and it's real fucking annoying
Yeah.
because it's not him that does this shit.
And I think one of the
Anyway,
big
sorry.
things coming from, I spent a lot of time doing things with Riot Games. And so Riot Games has been very lucky for the past like decade because we've had people like Riot Mortdog or Riot Freak or August who are willing to do streams and give like really in-depth information on how Riot is thinking about whatever champion or whatever design or whatever item, right? They've been very, very willing to do that. And they probably eat a lot of hate for it too, right? They get but it's also really, really valuable for the community that we have something like that. And based from what we've seen from the 40K community, people are fucking awful to Josh Roberts. Partly, again, he's like the only one that we know of. But this is one of those things where, would I watch Josh Roberts do a stream where he was talking about like potential balance things that he's thinking about for 40K? Absolutely, I would watch that. However, I can also understand where, if he's got, I don't know Josh at all, but if he's got like issues with like anxiety, like reading these comments or whatever, then I would also be very understanding why he would not be willing to do that. That said, I think there are ways to do it anonymously where someone is like, hey, we thought Dark Angels were totally fine. And we can sit there and be like, we disagree. However, whatever data you're looking at, fair enough. But there's also big things like, why are we doing certain things? Like I put out a video probably yesterday by the time this video comes out where I like one of the balance changes that happened is Krieg heavy weapons team's las cannons. The Krieg heavy weapon team base cost went up 10 points. But they already have that data sheet having +5 per heavy flamer that you add onto it. And there's a third option where you can give them like these weird twin linked stubbers that are terrible. So it's like, why did the base cost go up? Because now the stubbers are 70 points. We already have war gear cost. Make the base price can be the same, but make each las cannon +5 or fucking +10. I don't care what the number is. But there's like, what are we doing with this? Like, it's very clearly an inelegant solution. And I think having a little bit more conversation with the player base to say, hey, we're putting it up because we also don't want you to be playing flamers. It's like, okay, sure, I don't agree, but at least I understand why the decision was made that way.
I think we already have a guy for this.
Yeah.
Adam Camilleri, he did all of the, what was it, when they were doing like the faction focus everyday thing and they had like his little videos and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. That'd be great.
Like, that's their guy. That would be like our freak, right? Would be not our freak in the sense of he's a freak, but I mean in terms of Riot Games freak.
Yeah.
Probably he's Australian. Yeah, that would be one of the guys who could come in and just be like, literally, even if you just have like a conversation, like a 30-minute of like why we did this with someone on the bounce team like Josh or something like that, who could just tell him the things behind that. Adam pays attention to the game, right? So like, it's not like he wouldn't know what has been happening, what the balance has been like, what has been relevant in the meta. And so you have someone who's already pretty fucking informed because it's basically already his job. And then you just pay him to just talk every 3 months.
I'm down. I'm in.
For what it's worth, I do think Josh has a good metric of the game. I mean, he was at Tacoma and just basically just looking at the top tables, like what's doing well, what's not doing well. But I do think y'all hit it on the head where it's like, maybe we have like a spokesperson who can just like pull aggro from the chat and be like, hey, and then we know what we're more informed, at least. We don't have to just like be like, oh, GW, small indie company, they don't know anything. We can be like, at least we can see their thought process. That would give us some kind of context.
It would be nice.
It'd be exciting.
Yeah, Adam would be great for it. I'd also be willing to do this. This sounds like fun as hell job, but it's its own thing.
I think it should just be like, if you have it be someone who is already kind of known in the community, then it already kind of like instills a goodwill.
Yeah.
And so that can help be a buffer for like a lot of the animosity of people who are just going to yell and bitch because they saw red next to their favorite unit, right? Yeah, I think this is something that's totally doable, but once again, we're not the fucking company, right? So we can't decide for them.
All right, let's get into something a little bit different. We got another hot take. We are getting close to, I think, the end of when we're probably going to be recording this, but we got Rooter Brooder from the Floof Discord. 40K is pretty fun. Neither of you went like, yeah.
I have two. There were two wolves inside of me, where it's like 40K scratches the itch of whatever neurodivergence I have latent inside of me. Where like there's this encyclopedic number catalog, and then you get to hang out with friends and you recite the number catalog, and it's like, wow, this is great. And at the same time, it's like, man, I really wish I could just sell all of my models and go touch grass. And I'm constantly in this flux, right? Where it's like, is the juice worth the squeeze? And so far, yeah, I think so. I think it's just like, I think a lot of people stress themselves out with 40K, where they're like, shit, my army's fucking bad, fuck. And it's like, it doesn't have to matter. You can play a bad army, it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'm at.
God, I have like I feel like I have 1,000-yard stare going on. So, okay.
How many wolves are inside you?
You don't want to ask that question real quick. Okay, so yes, it is fun. I think I am someone who has had the unfortunate decision of playing, or the unfortunate route of playing a faction that has had most of the flavor taken out, and it's just been beat to fucking shit because they don't know how to actually what they want to do with the faction. When I talk to people who are getting into it and they're discovering the faction and they're having fun, I'm so fucking happy for them. I'm like, hell yeah, dog. Isn't this sick? Yeah, that model's cool as shit. Purple orcs, da 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 da. Like fucking, go recite all the memes, right? That's exciting, right? I get to see someone experience all the things I fell in love with. And then I come home and I look at how I'm building my list now and I'm just like, God, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I have like my old Swarm host list back from the first Cali Cup. I took it to like on the wall, just like doing the Wolverine thing of like, I miss you. So, but at the same time, like the models are cool. I love the hobby aspect of it. I love how much I have been able to meet people around the world. Right before this, I was a dancer for 8 years. I was a break dancer, and I got to meet people from different communities, and I traveled kind of along the West Coast, but I didn't like it was nowhere near as international. To get to an international level, you had to be like one of the best. For this, it's like I can hop in a stat check and I'm talking to people all across the world. I can hop into my own faction Discord and talk to people all across the world, and I like learn so much about other cultures, and it's an amazing opportunity for friendship. And I think that's like the thing is like in the end, this is like it's best used as a vessel to just go be social.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. The game will have ups and downs. The games will at times be fantastic, and then other times I would rather walk on Legos for an hour. But that's besides the point, because at the end of the day, you're there with friends who also love the same thing as you do, and you can just shoot the shit with them, right? It's the people that save this game from itself sometimes.
I think.
But yes, 40K is pretty fun.
I think right now, especially because we are high caliber players, right? I think we are in a spot where we have some degree of our ego invested in how good we are at this game, right?
Yes.
I don't think you can be a top player with no ego involved in whatever it is that you're doing. One of the big things that I've been feeling is the lead up to events right now is kind of not fun for me because one, I am a captain of a team, and so I'm like, hey, you fill out your matrix. I need you to switch your army right now because the one that you're playing is not good, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh God, if they're switching that, then I have to do this. And it's a lot of stress, and I have a certain expectation of myself. I go to these events. Like I played a couple weeks ago in Portland, and I got a 4. And I was just like, it lost my team the round, and I was pissed at myself, right? That was so the game was great. I loved playing as my opponent, but the result of like, I fucked up and it's hurting my friends. That sucks.
Yeah, how could you do that?
I know. However, we also recently just got done with Throwdown at the Campground 4, and that event was so much fucking fun. I brought up all of my friends down from Southern California. They got to hang out with people that they've mostly only talked to online. We got to sit around a bonfire. I got to rant about Gretchen for like an hour. It was great. And then we got to, people were drinking, people were smoking, people were doing whatever. And that's one of the most fun events I've been to in a long time, and Challengers is right around the corner. And while the prep for that is going to be stressing me out for the next like week and a half as we figure out what list we're going to be doing, getting to see you guys again That's awesome. Getting to see a bunch of people
Oh,
from
yeah.
like, the Midwest, getting to see some, I think there's a couple teams coming in from the East Coast. That's going to be great. I'm looking forward to seeing those people so much. And the actual games, even though I get a little, like, every time I've played a game of Guard, I've gotten a little bit sadder because the faction has been, like, rough to play. Um, Through all of that, I'm still enjoying the games in the moment. And I do think 40K is fun and the social part is super, super fun. And I really, really encourage anybody who's watching this who has never played Teams before, give it a try. It is super, super fun because it is not just
Games are
about
so fun.
you. The dice don't just fuck you. The dice are going to be doing everything. The great other thing is you can be like, Floof, I rolled snake eyes into snake eyes on my chargers. I'm coming back with a 0. And Floof is like, oh god! And then he gets to do his own thing in his own game. And it is so, so fun. So give that a try. I think it's the best way to play 40K.
Easily. I've only played one singles event this whole year, and it was Tacoma. Basically to see my friends.
Yeah.
Teams rules. 40K,
Okay.
good.
40K good.
Ultimately.
Scratches that neurodivergent itch.
I think the only thing keeping me in singles is fucking elo. Just, like,
I've
me
decayed
just
130
have-
points. I do not care anymore.
Yeah. Funny number go up, funny number go down.
Yeah.
Right. Every time it goes below 100, I'm just like, no, I can do better. I need to lock the fuck in.
Yeah. I think
Ugh.
it's a good spot to start wrapping it up on. What do you guys think?
I think you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I think we went a lot of places.
Love places. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this first episode of Yumi and Joshi. It has been, I don't know what we were expecting it to be, but I got to hang out with two pretty cool people. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying. Leave us comments down below about what you liked, what you didn't like. Again, we're looking at potential ways to bring you guys on or to bring these hot takes and defend them in the moment. That's something we're looking to do. Again, we have other ideas. I'm looking at potentially, I mentioned it before briefly, but I think Family Feud, but 40K would be incredibly fun to make these guys figure out what you guys think about the game. But if you have other ideas, if you have other things you want to see us talk about, let us know. It's going to be a good time. We're going to go over to Floof. Where else can we find you? What else are you up to?
Yeah, I run the Nexus Floof YouTube channel to where I teach you how to play GSC, AdMech, and just talk about 40K in general, as well as giving my hot take that Necrons is the most boring faction in 40K. So if you like what you see, go ahead and check me out there.
Nice. You do coaching as well, right?
Oh yeah, I do coaching as well. Reach out to
Yeah.
me on Discord, or they'll look at one of the YouTube videos I got. There'll be some type of social to get in contact with me. Yeah, I do coaching. Give me money, and I'll
Yoo-hoo.
teach you to be good at the game. I got rent to pay.
Hell yeah. Alex, where else can we find you? What else are you up to?
I'm usually yelling at people in the T-Sons Discord. Or just hit me up if you're in the PNW area. If you want to talk about T-Sons. I don't do coaching, but I love to talk about T-Sons. So if you want to yap, I'll listen. I think Necrons isn't the most boring army in the game anymore. I think Cursed Legion is awesome.
Okay,
But that's for another episode.
All right, there you go. Thank you guys so much. If you're watching this, you probably already follow my channel, but I am Josh Doushi Howard. I am a guard player predominantly up in the Pacific Northwest. I do coaching as well. If you are already here, you are already on my channel, so you're doing a good job. You figured out where it is you need to be. Thank you guys so much for coming into the first episode of Yumi and Joshi, and we'll see you guys all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.